What's up, everybody? This is B is for Build. I'm Chris. Today we're doing an episode a lot of people have been asking for. It is a tour of our garage, if you want to call it a garage. I got keys. I got lots and lots of keys. Probably one more in there. Yep. All right, we're gonna go through my project cars. We're gonna go through cars that are waiting to be more important projects. We're gonna go through my daily drivers, and we're gonna go through the one little car that's waiting around, probably just to be sold. Stay tuned. Okay, a couple things I got to get out of the way before we start this. Yes, we are continuing work on the rear quarter panel of this BRZ. We've been having some really crazy weather, and we've been having issues with weather, and that's been stopping us from filming, so I'm really sorry about that. I was working on this car earlier this morning, and I'm going to continue working on it after this episode. It's just we're expecting something like 4 to 5 inches of rain tomorrow, and stuff's supposed to flood, and things are getting a little crazy, and you know, there's a lot of glass and removal and stuff that has to happen to work on this car. And anyways, I'm working on it, and I want to create a good quality episode rather than just a bunch of episodes where not a lot of stuff happens. So that's happening. The other thing I have to apologize is my working area is trashed. The only thing that's been stopping me from doing this episode earlier is the amount of just junk that has piled up. We've been working at a really fast pace, and there's not a really good way to dispose of a lot of these excess car parts and different things. So it's a little bit trash around here. Excuse that, and by the next time we do another video like this, we'll have that all fixed up. I got big plans for cleaning this place up. Alright, so let's start with the 2014 BRZ that we picked up in Reno. So there's an episode, it's called, this is the Plan B BRZ, it's called Plan B Part 1 if you want to see how we got this car. It was a really amazing trip that me and my friend Adrian took, cameraman Adrian. We took down to Reno and rebuilt this car in a couple days, and we really haven't messed with it that much since. But yeah, let's go through it. Okay, so at the time of filming this video, the security system for this car isn't really high tech. That's about it. We are in the process of working on this quarter panel, so that's all there. The seat is going to come back out, so it's not quite there yet. What's different about this car? This car's a 6-speed manual. It's got about, well, man, I'm not so prepared. I gotta get the key for it. Aha, here's the key for it. Let's see. It's got 19,000 miles. I think it had about 18 or 17 when I got it. Yeah, 6-speed manual. Has some bubble gum in the dash. Still got trash from our road trip back, and car parts in the back seat. So this car is quite the project car. It's got some straight piped exhaust, which is, it sounds pretty interesting. Turn it up for you guys. Always good times. One interesting thing about this car is it's showing a lot of like small damage, scratches and dings and stuff absolutely everywhere on the car. Like hood, fenders, this bumper is insane. So I don't know how this thing possibly crashed and did all that damage, but it also has a clear bra on it that I'll be able to peel off, and that might remove a lot of the damage. Other mods that this car has is it has a set of Megan Racing coilovers and aftermarket headers, which I do not know what brand they are, and I know I'm forgetting something. It's got some nice end key wheels. I know I'm forgetting something. What's the other mods that this car has? Huh. Oh well, I can't remember. So that is the Plan B BRZ. What's left to be done with this car is the rear quarter panel, and that will get the car, oh, and then I need a mirror, and then the car just needs to be cleaned up and bolted up, and I think that'll get me back to basically stock, except for the front bumper is cracked in half. Other than that, this car will be back to stock. and then it's time to start planning mods, and those are TBD. I have not fully decided on what's going on with that yet, but it'll be fun and it will go faster. Alright, what car should be next? Well, let's just go over the other BRZ. So the other BRZ is kind of similar. It started blue, I painted it black, that didn't go well. It's got a Rocket Bunny V1 kit on it that I painted flat black, and I do like the contrast, and I'm still going to stick with that color pattern later. It's got F1R wheels on it. I think these are the F18s, I believe. They're super wide and they're really sticky. A couple episodes ago we just got the engine started, and as far as mods that this car has, it just has the super wide tires and the Rocket Bunny kit on it for now. The rest of the work has been done rebuilding the front of this car, which we did in a lot of other episodes, and I'm sure a lot of you guys have seen those. We did things like the new core support and other things like that. So what needs to be done with this car is the engine. The crankcase has a crack in it. We're going to need to fix that, and I'm thinking I might do an episode about JB welding that. The new wiring harness needs to be placed in here correctly, because some of this is just laid down in here. It needs an exhaust system. It has no exhaust after the headers, so it needs exhaust, and it needs its front suspension components attached. I have them, they're inside the car, but they need to be attached. The things like the sway bar and other stuff like that. And then these wheels have the wrong type of camber right now set on them, and that is because we spaced them out so much and they're so wide. So we're gonna have to come up with a solution for that. We can adjust the camber, which we haven't started even trying to do, and then there's some other stuff that we can do. So we'll get the camber set on those correctly, and then also we don't have enough clearance to turn the wheel fully and not rip off our front bumper a bunch. So small things really in the grand scheme of things with how far this car has come. It's probably only got a couple more weeks of work left in it before we're ready to either, you know, and oh, it needs a new windshield. The windshield has been, it was blasted out in a wreck, and then obviously I painted over it a bunch because I got tired of taping it. So that's that car, and that's the key. This one's a little bit different than the other BRZ in the way that it has keyless entry. It's got heated seats. It's the premium model, and that's why I'm leaning towards using this one as a daily driver if it's all possible, because those little niceties really do add up after a while. Next thing, well, we're already pointed at the Camaro. Let's go look at the Camaro. Alright, this car is a 1968 Chevy Camaro. I bought it in Chicago during the BS for Build road trip this summer. I found it in Chicago on Craigslist, and I just decided like I had to have it. We bought it and basically finished the assembly of the car and drove it home from Chicago back to Oregon, where it hasn't done much more driving, and I'll get into that. So this car has been a really big learning point to me about old cars. I had a 67 Mustang before this, but I never really tried to daily it very much. And well, needless to say, I've been learning a lot. You can see that, you know, pretty much all old cars leak, so there's just as much water on the inside as there on the outside. Which is a really big bummer. So all these window gaskets need to be repaired. These side windows, the way they're designed, is just like water just drips off of here, falls down here, and then slides right into your car. It's brilliant. So the engineering wasn't quite there with these cars, and turning that into a daily driver is just a bit of a hard time. This is where the BS for Build Wonder Tent flew over and dug into the paint over here. What have we done with this car so far? We did the flat out black grille, keeping it mean. It has a 327 Chevy small block engine in here, numbers matching, and we've been tuning that up. I've got the carb tuned up, I got the timing reset, and we're in the process of just improving that system. It's got a V-belt system that I've got a new serpentine belt system waiting to be put into that. So let's see if we can jump in here. Okay, on the inside we have our Sparco steering wheel, which we did an install of. We have our head unit, which once it got in, we replaced some speakers, and then we pretty much bailed on the project to get focused back on the BRZs. And a little bit of junk from the last project. Let's see if we can start it up and see how she runs. This will be fun. car has a lot of keys. We redid the shifter linkage, and that is a bit temperamental right now, so that's no fun. It is very cold outside. Carbureted cars don't like the cold. Man, I really don't want this to be a fail. Let's see if I can get this thing. So you can kind of hear that V-belt squeaking when I rev it. And that's something we're working on fixing with the new serpentine belt system. Other than that, work that needs to be into this car is it needs to be lowered a little bit more. This back gap is because the car is on a slant right now, but we need to lower it down just, I don't know. I think I'll do 2 inches in the back and 1 more inch on the front. And that should be good. There's some interior work that I want to do, and then a lot of it is just waterproofing this whole thing. Oh, and I got to install headlights. I got to do some custom made headlights for this car, so that is going to be a bit of a challenge. All right, now the car that you guys have been asking a lot of questions about. This is my Mustang. It has a lot of fake GT writing on the side. It is not a GT. It's a, well, no, it has a GT 500 writing on the side. It is a GT. It's not a GT 500. It is a 2007 Mustang GT. It's a 4.6 liter, I believe. It's got 300 horsepower and 320 foot-pounds of torque. Yes, I did have to Google that before I came back out here. I bought this car at auction a year and a half ago. I think I have some pictures on my computer I'll show you guys in this video right now. And when it came off the truck, I was not really even that excited. I've never been a huge fan of the Mustangs. But I had a hell of a project in mind for it, and so I got this car and I got started on my project. I stripped the front off of it and stripped the bumper and did some other things. Now the project never came to fruition. The idea was to take an old 1967 Mustang body off of the old car. So imagine, like, you take the body off of an old car as old as this and put it on this car, so you could have a nice daily driver with all the modern niceties of a new car, but have it look like an old car. That project went down in flames. That was a little bit ambitious but rubbish, and I didn't get too far before I bailed out of it, and you know, in the end it wasn't that big of a loss, but I was left with this Mustang, and I was like, what am I going to do with this Mustang? So I let it sit, and I bought a BRZ instead, I think. I don't really know how this went down in history. I think I've bought and sold plenty of other cars since this car. So this car's been sitting for over a year and a half. I'm not going to pop the hood, but basically we have on the left bank, the exhaust manifold is off, the engine mounts are both off, so the engine is inside here with different ratchet straps holding it this way and holding it this way, so it won't fall either direction. It needs a new rear quarter panel, which is fun work that we're doing right now, and it needs a new door, which is why it's got a door leaning up against it. I've never even driven this car, but I started it and I listened to the V8 rumble and I thought, alright, I'm going to figure out something to do with this car. Since I bought it a year, maybe even 2 years ago, the value of this car has dropped to a point where fixing it up and selling it is no longer an option. So I have a B is for Build project idea in mind, and I'm going to get into that when we actually kick off the build. It's a very kind of set plan, but let's just say it'll be at the drag strip this summer, and it'll be very, very fun. It's going to be a fun build. It's going to be a fun car in the style of building cars that I really like doing. I hope I answered all the questions. Unfortunately, it is an automatic, and that's why I'm thinking drag strip, quarter mile, stuff like that. Good stuff that an automatic transmission is not going to really hurt me that much on it. Other than how it is inside, I don't know. It's leather, and like I said, I've never driven the car, so I don't really know. Oh, so I bought this at auction, and the other damage it included was a snapped rear axle. And back then I was a bit of an amateur, and I didn't have the cojones to try and swap out the axle by myself. I paid a mechanic to do it. He held onto the car for about 3 months just to swap the axle, and then that cost me, then he had like the nerve to bill me about $2,000 to swap out the axle, which was just ridiculous. So that is part of the reason I got so stuck on this car. Like, I paid a pretty penny for it because it has all this GT bodywork on it. So other auction dealers, like people that just wanted to fix the car and sell it, they're bidding really high because they know that other people, just random Joe Schmoes on the street, would look the way it looked, which I don't really care that much. Anyway, so the price went up high when I bought it at auction. I bought it for too much. Then I spent $2,000 to get a rear axle fixed. So then my bill was way too high. And basically, I'm kind of pot committed on this car, and now it's time to have fun with the investment that I've made. I made a bit of an investment on this car, and now it's time to just really have a lot of fun with it. All right, now let's move over to my daily drivers. All right, this is my 2001 Honda S2000. This car is a bit of an interesting story. I mean, I bought it when I decided to get back into sports cars a couple years ago. Most of the stuff that is done on it was done by the previous owner. So I can't take credit for it, but it's a great car. I daily drive it anytime the weather's nice and anytime I really just feel like going fast, if I want to blow off some steam. It's got a lot of upgrades on it. It's got upgraded exhaust. It's got a carbon fiber Mugen hardtop. It's got the N-key wheels that everybody has, the RPF 19er 765ers. I don't know, I'm terrible at remembering wheel names. Let me unlock it. Under the hood, it's got stainless steel brake lines, headers, airbox, and chipped stuff. Some other good stuff. I upgraded the headlights because those were getting a little foggy. K-Sport coilovers, keep it nice and on the road. It is a white with the red and black interior, which is a nice little limited edition feature. So here's that steering wheel thing that I mentioned in the steering wheel thing earlier. Anytime I want to drive this car, I have to basically go dig out my steering wheel and drive it. But I can start it and let you guys listen to it. Well, it is a 6-speed manual. It's got like what I would say stage 1 weight reduction done to it. Basically from here back there's not a lot of interior stuff, but you know, it's really not necessary for a car like this, and I actually really like it that way. The leather, the interior on this car is just beautiful, and I really do like it. The other thing that I really like about this car is it is virtually indestructible. I don't want to jinx it, but pretty much anytime I go to start it or I want to use it or anything, it just starts right up, and I just don't have any problems with this car. It's so low maintenance. So yeah, it's a little sketchy starting a car with no steering wheel, but I do it all the time. So a little bit of a slow start due to the fact that it hasn't ran in probably a month or two. But that's what I love about this car. I can just jump into this car and it just turns right on for me and it's ready to roll. Very, very basic interior. Nothing really to be seen. Like, the stereo is terrible. I think I'm only running with 1.5 speakers. I really do need to improve the sound. I have a G-force meter that I've never used ever. Oh man, you can't see that at all. There it is. Yeah, so this car doesn't really need anything. It's an interesting car. It's really fun. It sticks like none other when it's on the track. It sticks so hard, but when you're on the street, it sticks hard, but the suspension is pretty tight, and then you can hit a bump and throw your back end out pretty easily. But this car does like to stay straight, so it evens itself out pretty well. It's not like you're gonna lose the back end and just go flying around. It does have a Kaz, or Kaz, however you pronounce it, 1.5 way limited slip differential in the back, which is loud and not great, but what it does is the gearing ratios add for a lot more low-end torque, and it makes this car really fast as a kind of city driver and everything. So it's a great little car. Revs to 9,200 RPM, which is always good for a fun time. So I drive this car a lot during the summer and a little bit during the winter, normally just when I'm in the mood to go out for a drive. The only bummers with this car that if I could go back and, well, I can't always go back, and then I may work on in the future, is the hardtop. These latches weren't engineered very well, and so they tend to rattle, and you have a lot of kind of rattly sounds when you're driving this car, rattles and squeaks, because you know it's meant to have a soft top that can flex, and when you have this hard top that doesn't flex, all it does is basically react by squeaking or rattling, and that's really annoying. And it basically means that you have to winterize this car once a year and spend a lot of time fixing squeaks, fixing rattles, and and doing different things, and then eventually these bolts all strip out on this thing and you have to rethread them and refiberglass them, and it's a pretty big pain in the ass, but it's something that's worth going through because the hardtop looks great. It looks really great on this car. So I apologize, it is dirty. Like I said, it's been raining a lot and lots of weather issues. So that's my Honda S2000. This is my 2012 Dodge Charger. I bought this car and got a great deal at auction for it, so I bought it and decided to fix it up. I put the SRT front bumper on there. It was actually really hard to find. Once I found it and got it on here, that was a really great idea. And the story behind this is that whole front end was wrecked, so hood, headlights, bumper support, everything going back to engine radiator, AC condenser. I replaced all that stuff and then had that painted, and then this was Christmas of last year, I believe, and then I also needed a new rear bumper, and then literally everything got painted 2 days before Christmas. I grabbed the car and went to drive to my family's place for Christmas, and then I got rear-ended and smashed this rear bumper in, and then so back to the shop, one of those bad things, and unfortunately somebody hit me right here, so I'm a little scratched up, and that's one of those things where it's not worth filing an insurance claim. This is a car I put a lot of miles on. It's huge, it's massive, it's almost the size of a Ford Econoline van, wide. I can't even get the whole thing in shot, and I apologize, it's very dirty inside, so I'm not going to film most of it, but the thing I really like about this car is the electronic niceties. I mean, you hop right in and it's automatically going to start like heating your seats if it's cold outside. It's just will start playing whatever was on your phone if you have it set to do that. A lot of really great things. It's an automatic. I think it's about 300 horsepower or something like that. It gets decent gas mileage, and it's just a cruiser. And I don't have any time for cruisers in my life anymore, so I'm actually in the process of getting rid of this car because race car. So I'm gonna get rid of this car, and I'm gonna use either, I'm in the market for an SUV, but I also really want to be using the Camaro, the S2000, and one of the BRZs as more of my dailies. I don't need a big ass car like this in the city, and I don't have kids or anything to put in the back, so the back is just useless storage. One cool thing is you can put 2x4s in this thing. I've put like massively long 2x4s in this thing. And the other design element that I really like is these taillights. When they light up, they do the outline, and that is really cool, and it doesn't hurt in the city to look like a cop car once in a while because you get shot at less. Alright, on to the last car. This is the 2008 Subaru Impreza that we fixed up and took on the B is for Build road trip earlier this summer. It's still oozing with street cred. We got our May the Force Be With You brake light. We got our neon green rims with the gold grenade stem caps. Our auction numbers. Plexiglass window is holding up like a champ. I have to point out, this car doesn't leak at all, and we built this window in one night. So that's that I find that really impressive. 67 Mustang door mirror. The neon green zip tied together front bumper, and our awesome Star Wars themed street cred. So this car is a 5-speed manual. It's still got Jeff's trash in it from the road trip. It's still got stuff to make s'mores down there. Needless to say, we haven't done much to clean it up, but we do need to clean it up, and this car is actually for sale. If any of the B is for Builders want this car, it's a great car. We drove it 5,000 miles this summer and had no issues whatsoever. It's a small project in the way that it needs a new window and a door panel, and I have a new front bumper that'll come with it. I got a new headlight that'll come with it, and a new grille that'll come with it. So it's a small project car. Great for anybody that wants to do a project. This isn't a big sales pitch. I don't really care if we sell it or not. I just wanted to give any of the fans a chance to get it first because, like I said, it's a great car. So also it has this issue, so it needs some sheet metal covering this up, and then to be welded and bondoed. And then, anyways, it's a pretty solid car. It's a 2008, like I said. I think it's got roughly 100,000 miles. It's a 5-speed manual, and I really like this car. We got it for $3,000 and we put $500 into it. Actually, I put $1,000 into it, but I'm just gonna say $500 so I don't feel bad. And I want to sell it for $3,500. I don't really care to make a dime on this car. So if anybody wants it, it's yours. Just hit me up in the comments or email or Instagram or Facebook. And I'd be more than happy to kick it down the road to another BS Rebuilder that wants it. And like I said, I have a lot of the replacement parts to fix the front of this car up. I actually have a door panel too that's sitting at a parts warehouse somewhere. I've been too lazy to pick up. Basically, you know, this car's just been sitting here because I've been too busy with the BRZs, and it's a real shame that that's been the case. This car's a real trooper. We had a lot of fun with it on the road trip, and it's just an overall pretty great car. I might drive it this winter in some snow if I still have it, but anyways, yep, that's the last of the collection. All right, guys, that was a little tour, a little walk around of my cars at the time. It's an ever-changing type of thing. I've lately just been adding more than removing, which is probably not good. I think I have 7 1/4 cars, if I count the quarter of a BRZ I got sitting behind this camera. So lots of cars, lots of work to be done on almost every one of them. But well, that's why I have the show, to film it and show you guys. Thank you guys very much for watching. Please remember to like and subscribe. If you like these key tags that you saw on all my different keychains, well, this is a Mighty Car Mods one. You can find that on their website, mightycarmods.com. But this is a BS Rebuild one, and it is almost the exact same except for with different words on it. And you can find that at our shop at bsrebuild.com. We're on Facebook, facebook.com/bsrebuild. We're on Instagram. Instagram username is bsforbuild. And we got a website, bsforbuild.com. Thank you guys very much for watching. Please remember to like and subscribe. Peace. Oh God, I just dented the door again.